In today's class, we are going to talk about weighted average. Okay, weighted average is what we're going to talk about in class today. The best way to do that is to just go ahead and do some problems to see how we actually use weighted average. This is what we use as teachers to, basically give weight to different categories of your grade, like the test, quiz, classwork, homework, and your final grade. All right. So let's look at this first example over here. We've got Mrs. Adams' grade weights. For the test is 30%, quiz is 20%, classwork is 20%, homework is 10%, and final is 20%. So it says find your overall grade in Mrs. Adams' class if you have a test average of 88, a quiz average of 75, classwork average of 100, homework average of 50, and receive a 91 on your final. So now the best way to do this is to create like a little chart so that you can actually organize how you're going to figure out what the overall grade is. All right. So let's go ahead and just do that. And I'm going to go ahead and write down the way I'm going to do this chart. What I would do is I would take the average, okay, and then I would take the weight. That's a G, by the way. I can't make a G to save my life. All right, and then you've got the weighted average. Okay, so I'm going to put it up here. Call it weighted. IGHTED average. Okay, so that's what we're going to end up with. Now, what do? Well, we take the information that we're given, right? So here we've got for your test scores. So for our test score, we have what's that? 88, right? Okay, that's this right here. So the test score is 88. Okay, and then we got a quiz score of 75. And then you got an average classwork of 100. Okay. And then you got an average homework of 50. And then you receive a 91 in your final. So your final, you made a 91. All right. So what do we do next? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the weights that Mrs. Adams have, right, for this particular for her class. So I'm going to go ahead and put them in under the weight category. Now, in order to use this in our calculation, we have to take the decimal values of these percentages, and we're going to put them here, okay? So let's go ahead and do that right now. So the weights for the test is 30%, so that would be basically 0.3. And then over here, 20%, 0.2. That's the decimal values. This would be 0.2. 10% is 0.1. And over here, 0.2. Okay? Now, if you were to add up all these average together, it should be 100%. Okay? So just keep that in mind. That's how we do it. Okay, now, what do we do with these numbers? Well, we multiply. So we're going to multiply this average that we have for each of the category times the weight. And that's what gives us our weighted average. So let's go ahead and do that right now. We'll go ahead and do that. Pull out my calculator. So the first one is going to be 88 times, and let me zoom in just a little bit more here so I can get a little bigger. Okay. And we'll take 88 times 0.3. Okay, that is 26.4. So let's put that in green. 26.4. And then 75 times 0.2. That'll be 15. Okay, and then 100 times 0.2. That'll be 20. And then 50 times 0.1. That's equals to 5. And then 91 times 0.2 is 18.2. All right. So here, to get our overall grade for Mrs. Mrs. Adams' class, right? Okay. what we have to do is we have to take all the averages, multiply it times their particular weight for that average, okay, and then what we get is the weighted average. And then what we do is we add all these weighted average together to get our overall grade in Mrs. Adams' class, all right? All right, so 84.6, all right? So that is how you do that problem. Got it? So let's look at the next example here. Well, let's see, example number 3. All right, so in this next example, it's basically based off of the first one that we did right here, right to the left. And it's saying, using the information from example 1, what would you need to make on your final to receive an overall grade of 90 or better? So here, we're creating a different scenario where, okay, what would our final have to be? So right now it's a 91, right? But we're going to take that out because that's what we're trying to find right now, and and this is going to be 90 because this is what the question is asking. So it's asking you, what does this have to be so that we get that grade, overall grade of a 90? All right. So of course we have to erase this also because this will change. All right. So here we're going to have to look for 2 different numbers. You got it? All right. We're going to have to look for this number. Then we have to look for this number. All right. So let's go ahead and do that. Well, here all I got to do is if I add all this together, and I'm going to say this is going to be let's create a letter. We'll call this one A. Right? We'll call it A. And what we'll do is we'll add all these together, set it equal to 90, and then solve for A, and that'll give us this number right here. You got it? So let's go ahead and do that. So we take 26. We'll take 26.4 plus 15 plus 20 plus 5 plus A, that's what we don't know, right, equals 90. And let's go ahead and do that. I'll pull my calculator out. 26.4 plus 15 plus 20 plus 5, okay, that's equal to 66.4. So this is 66.4 plus A, because we still don't know what that is, equals 90. And let's keep solving for this. How do I solve for A? Well, I'm going to subtract 66.4 from both sides, right? That leaves us with what A is. So 90 minus 66.4 is equals to 23.6. Oops, 23.6. All right. So that is our weighted average. Okay. Now that's not what we're looking for though, right? So this will only give us our weighted average. So here, this will give us 23.6, right? 23.6, right? There we go. Okay, but that is not what we're looking for. What we're looking for, the question is asking, what does this have to be? Okay, what does the average have to be, not the weighted average, right? So here, what we got to do is, this is what I don't know. This is our variable. All right, so let's make this into, I don't know, X. Now, let's not make it X, let's make it C. It's better, it's a better variable to use. So let's say this is going to be C, all right? So let's work that out, right? We get, it's going to be 0.2, okay, times C, okay, equals 23.6. Right? So that's how we get that. All we're doing is we're multiplying this together, right? And then we're going to have to solve for what we don't know, which is the 0.2. So how do we do that? Well, just divide both sides, you know. We're solving for C, so we're going to divide both sides by 0.2. And we're going to get, let's see, 23.6 divided by 0.2 is equals to 118. That's too much. All right, so C is equals to 118. That is what you have to make on your final. Now, unless your teacher is giving you extra points, okay, you're not going to get 118. And usually you're going to get the total of 100, and that's not going to get you to a 90, of course. So you need a final score of 118. All right, to get that 90, you need this to get this as your overall score or average for the class. All right.